A man comes running to the doctor shouting and screaming in pain. "Please doctor, you've got to help me. I've been stung by a bee." "Don't worry," says the doctor, "I'll put some cream on it." "You will never find that bee. It must be miles away by now." "No, you don't understand," answers the doctor, "I'll put some cream on the place you were stung." "Oh. It happened in the garden in back of my house." "No, no, no," says the doctor, getting frustrated. "I mean, on which part of your body did that bee sting you?" "On my finger," screamed the man in pain. "The bee stung me on my finger and it really hurts." "Which one?" asked the doctor. "How am I supposed to know? All the bees look the same to me." Two roofers, Bob and Dan, were putting a new roof on a barn when a bundle of shingles slid down the slope and knocked the ladder over. Bob and Dan decided since it was early they would continue working because someone would surely come around by quitting time. It was nearing 5 p.m. and they hadn't seen hide nor hair of anyone. So, they walked around the roof a few times and finally decided there was only one way down. On the west side of the barn was a big manure pile. Bob says, "It's the only way down. I'll go first." Bob jumped. Dan heard the squishy landing and yelled, "Hey Bob! How deep did you go?" Bob yells back, "I went to my ankles, Dan, come on, jump." Dan jumps. And sinks clear up to his neck in manure. "I thought when you jumped you went up to your ankles?" he shouts at his friend. "I did," explained Bob, "but I landed head first."
Sally was driving home from a business trip, when she saw an elderly woman walking on the side of the road. She stopped the car and asked the woman if she would like a ride. With a silent nod, the woman got into the car. Resuming the journey, Sally tried in vain to make a bit of small talk with the woman. The old woman just sat silently, looking intently at everything she saw, studying every little detail, until she noticed a brown bag on the seat next to Sally. "What's in bag?" asked the old woman. Sally looked down at the brown bag and said, "It's a bottle of wine. I got it for my husband." The woman was silent for another moment or two. Then, speaking with quiet wisdom, she said, "Good
A
trade."
woman's garden is growing beautifully, but the tomatoes won't ripen. She goes to her neighbor and says, "Your tomatoes are ripe, mine are green. What can I do about it?" The man replies, "Well, it may sound absurd, but here's what to do. Tonight there's no moon. After dark go out into your garden and take all your clothes off. Tomatoes can see in the dark and they'll be embarrassed and blush. In the morning they'll all be red, you'll see." She says to herself, well, what the heck, it can't hurt to try it. Next day her neighbor asks how it worked. So, she answers. The tomatoes are still green, but the cucumbers are all 4 inches longer.
Do you drink beer? Yes. How many per day? 3. How much do you pay per beer? $5 each including tip. How long have you been drinking? About 20 years. 3 beers a day equates to $450 per month or $5,400 per year. In 20 years, that's $108,000. Sounds correct. Did you know that if you put that money in a savings account, that after interest, you would have had enough money to buy a plane? Do you drink beer? No. Where's your fucking plane?
Sometimes, someone unexpected comes into your life out of nowhere, makes your heart race, and changes you forever. We call those people cops.
A man goes into a restaurant and is seated. All the waitresses are gorgeous. A particularly beautiful waitress came to his table. "What would you like, sir?" He looks at the menu and then looks at her, then answers, "A quickie." The waitress turns and walks away in disgust. After she regains her composure she returns and asks again, "What would you like, sir?" Again the man looks at her and answers, "A quickie please." This time her anger takes over. She reaches over and slaps him across the face with a resounding smack and storms away. A man sitting at the next table leans over and whispers, I think it's pronounced quiche."